You are watching the Big Ten ACC Challenge on ESPN. And it's a top 10 showdown between number 2 NC State and number 6 IU at the historic Simon Skjodt Assembly Hall here in Bloomington, Indiana. ACC leading 4-2 after day 1. We'll see who prevails tonight. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Angel Gray alongside the woman, the myth, the NC State legend, Debbie Antonelli. And Debbie, we couldn't ask for a better game. Just looking back at it, this is a rematch of last year's Sweet 16 game. IU upset NC State to move on to their first Elite Eight. So if the Wolfpack are looking for some type of redemption tonight, I don't think they have to look any further than Jakia Brown-Turner.
You know what, Angel? NC State's a really good offensive team. They're balanced. They play through the middle, and Elisa Cunane leads them in scoring and rebounding. But tonight, Jakia Brown-Turner has to be a factor offensively for the Wolfpack to win on the road. She can score outside the arc. She can get to the rim. She's very good in their middle third pick and roll game. And Jakia Brown-Turner can turn on the burner in the open floor. She's got great balance in her game. NC State is a solid offensive team. And on the other side, they're going to have to deal with the backcourt duo of Grace Berger and Allie Patberg. These two have been around a long time. They've played in big games. They understand what it means to compete on every possession, and they both can score the basketball for Indiana.
Allie Patberg, 7 years under her belt. Grace Berger led the nation in triple doubles last year. Terry Morin was telling her team and media, we know for Allie Patberg, this is her last year. So, of course, the Hoosiers are trying to do everything that they can to continue to build off of that Elite Eight appearance that they had last season in the NCAA tournament. And as we said before, this is the Big Ten ACC Challenge. A lot on the line. We already talked about the sense of redemption that NC State has on their mind right now. I was in the tunnel coming in as well, and they were like, it's time to go. Sweet redemption for the Wolfpack. NC State actually leads this series 4-1. As they take the floor.
It's very rare in college basketball that both teams return all 5 starters. This is an experience. This should be a well-played game. Both these teams can score. And NC State averages 80 points a game, and Indiana's going to have to score with them tonight.
Ring the bell. The challenge has begun between the Hoosiers and the Wolfpack right away. Right, drains it from deep for 3.
You go under a ball screen, NC State's going to make you pay.
On the outside, that is no good by Alexa Gobey. And a quick start for NC State. Reina Perez from deep early in the shot clock. Starting 5 for NC State, Reina Perez, who we already see on the board. Kai Crutchfield, we already talked about Jakia Brown-Turner, and 33 right here, just doing some major work.
Well, it's so important for Elisa Cunane to score in the one-on-one because it's hard to bring help. She demands a double, yet NC State shoots the 3 so well. If you help off someone, who is it? They all can shoot it. That's part of the balance of this team.
And you see the starters for IU at the bottom of the screen. 257 games played between those players. 4,076 career points. All 5 starters are averaging double figures. And that one doesn't go.
Grace Berger has really struggled shooting that pull-up mid-range jump shot. As a matter of fact, in the last 3 games, she's only shooting 34% from the floor. But this is the kind of game with the kind of pace that we anticipate that could get her going.
Nikki Cardano-Hillary gets a steal on the other end, seeing if she can get some things going for her team. Still looking for their first points in this game.
NC State looking to ice ball screens. Cardano-Hillary does a good job of splitting it, but turns it over.
Shooting amongst the trees. Cunane in the paint. They're going right away on the other side, and unfortunately, Kayla Jones can't get that one to go.
Well, it's really important to try to attack Mackenzie Holmes. She's so skilled on the inside, and that's what I'm talking about. In transition, she comes off that stagger and does a great job of hitting that pull-up jump shot. I'm telling you, this could be her game.
She was voted All Big Ten first team for a reason. Grace Berger can score with the best of them, and that little dish on the inside by Cunane is tipped away, and the Hoosiers are pushing the pace. From the outside, that one can't fall.
Well, Mackenzie Holmes has really worked on shooting the 3. She's 2 for 3 coming into the game, so she will pull it in transition.
Beautiful finish underneath by Elisa Canane. And it's a 5-point lead by the Wolfpack.
Indiana is best when they move the ball. If they get 3 sides in a possession, they typically score.
Patberg outside shot, no good, but a nice board. And that one goes to Mackenzie Holmes, and that's been something that they've been working on. Knowing from the previous game, the boards is where they were thriving over the Wolfpack.
NC State, I think, has started the game sloppy. They've turned it over. They haven't had the ability to score in the paint easily. This has got to be a bucket right here for the Wolfpack. Yes, when you catch it that deep, you have to put pressure on Mackenzie Holmes. She's too skilled on the other end.
And it seems like a one-on-one matchup between Canane and Holmes as well. So that's something we're going to pay attention to throughout the game.
Boy, Wes Moore does not like that call. Canane picks up a foul off the ball trying to defend Holmes on a post-up. And here's the matchup inside that we're talking about. Both these players lead their team in scoring and in rebounding, and they're both very efficient in the paint.
You see a lot of pressure on the outside by Jakia Brown-Turner.
See, that's more of a foul than the last one.
Well, NC State will get it back. As Grace Berger just patted to herself and said, my bad. Looking for a little bit more poise. Chloe Moore McNeil checks in for the Hoosiers.
I think it's a key that Terry Moore, and the head coach for Indiana, gets to her bench early, because NC State does have an advantage in depth. So you have to be able to get players a little sweat and a little run early, because you know this is a big-time environment inside this game.
Depth, they have 9 returners. All 5 starters return for them as well, and they return their top 8 scorers from last year as well. Coach Morin, 7th year, 8th year at IU, and has been absolutely phenomenal. Talked with her earlier at shoot-around just about how they can continue to build off of that historic program run in the Elite 8. She said, we're not finished. We have to continue to go.
Well, she's checking the boxes, right? She's already won a Big Ten championship. She's won a WNIT championship. She's been to the Elite 8. They keep taking another step every year.
The pace right here underneath. That one can't go by Allie Patberg. Dish off. Raina can't get that one to go. Jones' second attempt, not there. And Grace Berger with the rebound.
Really good effort by Indiana. Look, they're not going to quit. They're going to stay in every possession. And that's what I mean about NC State being a little sloppy. You got numbers in transition. You have to finish.
Grace Berger hits the front iron. And Raina Perez corrals the ball, comes down, tries to get her team in a set. Early on, you can see the amount of attention underneath by Canane, almost taken away by the Hoosiers. 14 on the shot clock, and there's actually going to be a foul called on the play.
Indiana that time brings the double, and they get a deflection, but NC State moves the ball, and you have to continue to move the ball and make Indiana guard. If you can get them chasing the basketball and be a pass or a pass and a half late, you'll be able to attack a closeout.
Couple of substitutions. Camille Hobby checks in for NC State, and Alexa Golbey is in for Indiana. Jones at the top of the key right away. Gets it on the inside, and that's short. We knew that this game was going to be about pace and who can get the ball out, as well as an outside 3 is off to the right for IU. How do you like the pace so far?
I love the pace, and I love that NC State's guards are getting on the glass, which gets them into their transition game.
Bobby all the way to the bucket, and that's actually going to go off of her.
Well, NC State works through a double team every day in practice, and because Canane is off to such a great start, you got to bring the double and change it up.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Geico. Save even more when you bundle home and car insurance. And your Lexus dealers, wishing you a happy and safe holiday season. You're looking at the screen right now of IU celebrating their first program Elite Eight. Moving on, and they were beating NC State in that Sweet 16 game, and they were playing without Kayla Jones on the NC State side, but this is what it looked like for that game, and I know that you were able to watch it as well, but what stands out to you about that game particularly?
Well, that Kayla Jones didn't play for NC State. Allie Patberg had a big game, and Reina Perez has had this game circled on her personal calendar because she didn't think she played well.
And here we are. I was able to talk to Kayla Jones before the game, and she said, "It's something that this is the highlight of the calendar for us in this game. I wanted to be out there with my team, got injured in the first round." And so Jada Jones actually had to come in for her and did pretty well in her first debut in an NCAA tournament. But now it's about who's going to walk away with the bragging rights tonight.
So NC State playing with a little bit of a smaller lineup now that Jada Boyd is on the floor. And Diamond Johnson as well. Now this is where NC State goes to their rotations, and the rhythm of the game usually changes. Picks up the pace on both ends.
Well, Wes Moore, as there's a travel called on the floor. That one's going to go against Jakia Brown-Turner. But Diamond Johnson checks in, a.k.a. the sixth starter for NC State.
Well, Diamond Johnson, the ACC Player of the Week, as you mentioned, she could be a sixth. Jada Boyd could be a seventh starter. NC State very deep in the last two games. 20 points in the Bahamas.
Had a very nice showing against Maryland as well as Washington State. She was on the ACC watch list as well, coming in, the transfer from Rutgers. And she has been a huge spark for NC State, as that one is no good, but rebounded on the old boards by IU.
The NC State really small now on the floor with three quick guards. This is the kind of defensive effort Wes Moore is looking for. Let's see if Indiana can attack.
Well, the goal for NC State was to see if they could keep IU out of the paint. I mean, they've gotten some early touches already.
Grace Berger can't even make a layup right now, which is really surprising.
That rebound's pulled down by Keandra Brown.
I talked to Grace Berger today about the little bit of shooting slump she's in. I was like, what's going on? She says, nothing, I'm working through it. I'm going to take care of business. And she'll find a way to impact the game in other ways if her shot's not falling.
And that's what she was telling me earlier today, too. She said, it's not just about me and my game. It's how I make everybody else on the floor better, too. As there's a travel on the floor, and it seems like Indiana is just trying to gather their bearings just a bit. All right, coming up next over on ESPN at 9 Eastern, the 14th Women's Big Ten ACC Challenge rolls on with Duke hosting 9th-ranked Iowa at Cameron Indoor Stadium. The ACC owns a 9-1-3 all-time advantage in the series. You can always watch it streaming live on the ESPN app. One app, one tap. Caitlin Clark against Kara Lawson is going to get her team going as well.
Caitlin Clark, one of the best guards in the country. Must-see TV with Caitlin Clark. She's a point guard who can handle, who can score. She's really fun to watch.
WBCA's co-freshman of the year. As Berger comes down with the rebound. But I think we got a pretty good one in front of us as well, Debbie. It's from the outside. Chloe Moore McNeil can't connect from the three. But once again, another O board goes to the Hoosiers. Foul underneath as Mackenzie Holmes is going to draw that one. That's going to be the first one against Camille Hobby. And Holmes steps to the line for two.
I do not know how Nicole Cardano-Hillary got that ball to Mackenzie Holmes. That was such a tight window to squeeze that pass in there. And they should play through Holmes right now. Without Elisa Cunain on the floor, this is an advantage for Indiana.
She gets that one to fall. 73% free throw shooter. And it said she's accepted the challenge. I was asking her about the matchup against Elisa Cunain, and she said, well, she has to guard me too. And that's something where in her mind, she says, it's time for me to be more dominant in the paint.
I love when players give an offensive-only answer.
NC State holding on to a 3-point lead, but turn the ball over as there's an offensive foul. That's going to go against Kai Crutchfield.
Yeah, NC State not in rhythm, sloppy. They've been stuck on 9 for a long time, ever since Cunane picked up that foul and had to go sit. Now, Indiana, watch for number 54 in white. That's Mackenzie Holmes. We've been referencing her. Look for them to run a set for her.
NC State is a little bit dry from the offensive side. 5 minutes that they haven't had a bucket. Seeing if they can get things calmed down a little bit.
Oh, good dig in. Good deflection by Diamond Johnson, and she's in the open floor. She is fast.
Speedy Diamond Johnson in the ACC Player of the Week for a reason, can get things going in a hurry.
Her defense leading to an easy bucket for the Wolfpack.
Euro step on the inside. That one isn't going to go, but Allie Packberg rebounds her own shot, passes it out, and Chloe Moore McNeil drains the outside shot. 2-point game, NC State.
And we talked about an early substitution to get her on the floor. Terry Moore knows she has to be a factor. She has to have an impact on the game. Chloe Moore McNeil.
Diamond Johnson at the top of the key, guarded by Allie Packberg, weaving her way on the inside, but that's actually going to be called a carry on the inside.
Just a scrappy play right here by Indiana. Packberg misses her own, gets her own rebound, and Chloe Moore McNeil, after shooting basically a brick the last time, she knocks this one down. That's confidence.
It's very interesting. Even talking to Allie Packberg, she said, listen, we got to be scrappy. We got to be more physical. We got to be more aggressive.
You're going to go here with about 8 or 9 on the shot clock. 8, there they go at 8.
Only a second differential in shot clock. That one is no good by Grace Berger, and they had a good look to end the quarter.
Well, Terry Morin calls Grace Berger's number, showing some confidence in her shooter.
Well, NC State holding on to a 2-point lead, but Indiana, oh, they're coming.
It's V Week on ESPN as we continue Jim Valvano's fight against cancer.
A very important week as we honor one of the best, the legendary Jimmy V. It's V Week, raising awareness about cancer research. I know that hit home with you as well, just knowing everything that he did for NC State, but also just humanity.
Well, Coach V was a great guy. He loved the game. He was passionate about his players and about NC State. And Kay Yao and Jim Valvano were great friends. And the V Foundation has done remarkable work and has saved a lot of lives. So if you can give, it doesn't matter how much, please help out the V Foundation.
The travel and the call for IU. But Debbie in the break, you said they got to get Elisa Cunane back in the game. Asking you shall receive. She starts the second quarter. But as far as NC State, they started off hot. 4 or 5 from the field. Since then, they've been 1 for 8.
Yeah, Cunane was 3 for 3. The rest of the team is 2 for 10.
You talked about IU out hustling NC State as well. They have 7 second chance points compared to NC State 0. But that's a second chance point that they won from board.
Now that's the kind of energy play that might stimulate NC State. They've been flat, they've been sloppy. Now they get a chance with Cunane back on the floor to play their 4 out, 1 in.
I was able to talk to Jakia Brown-Turner before the game, and she just talked about how it seemed like IU just wanted it more. Watching the tape from last year, they were quicker, they were better in every facet. Those are the type of plays that they want to see more of as this game progresses. Outside shot with 6 on the shot clock, no good from Gobey.
Gobey 0 for 3 from the 3-point line. I think Indiana can get a better shot.
Gobey 29% from the 3-point line. Boyd forcing the situation towards the paint. No foul called, and IU will actually cough the ball back up as she touches the baseline.
NC State with their second or 1 offensive rebound. This would be just out-toughing Indiana to be able to get that ball on the rim.
We talked about Jada Boyd too. Diamond Johnson, one of those players that can bring a lot of a spark to this team. Well, Boyd had to step in as there's a violation underneath and they can't get the ball in.
That's what I'm talking about. Not sharp, not cutting hard, not playing together. Indiana on the other side has got to move the ball to be able to get better looks.
Wes Moore not too pleased with what he's seeing so far from his team to start the second quarter. And Grace Berger working the ball around. Pat Berg dishes it off.
See, they are doing a good job of driving and kicking.
We're on the shot clock, though. Someone has to take the shot. Pat Berg dials up her own number, and that one's short. And a lot of contact underneath, and you got to think that's going to go against Elisa Cunane. That's her second foul, and Indiana will get the ball back.
No, there's no question this is a foul. We have an excellent officiating crew.
Yep, Gina Cross, Michael McConnell, Roy Golbian, rounding out the officiating crew for tonight. You mentioned it, some of the best. You can see that they're trying to get the ball on the inside very early to Mackenzie Holmes for this matchup against Hobby. And rightfully so. You can see her forcing the situation, and Hobby picks up another foul.
Personal foul, NC State, number 41.
Thought that was in motion and shooting, but they're actually going to call it underneath.
I guess the official thought there was displacement by the defense.
NC State doing a good job so far keeping the backcourt of IU out of the paint, but when that happens, Allie Patberg happens from the outside.
Patient, poised, lets the game come to her. 7 years of college, are you kidding me? How lucky is she?
7th and final season. She's second ever NCAA D1 women's basketball player to have 7 years eligibility.
NC State is not executing, and they're breaking off their sets. And this is what I'm talking about, being sloppy with the basketball.
4 on the shot clock is Diamond Johnson trying to see if she can create something. And you mentioned it, the sloppy play at the top of the key. They didn't look like they were in rhythm from any point of that series.
Yeah, I think their execution has been poor, and I'm not sure it has to do with Indiana's defense. NC State is dribbling too much in their quarter court sets. They're much better when they pass the ball instead of dribble.
You can feel like the energy is on the side of Indiana's. NC State, as you mentioned, is just holding on to this 2-point lead, but can't quite find what's working for them and get in a rhythm on the offensive end.
Well, I think Indiana has done a nice job of playing inside out with their defense. NC State is only 1 for 3 outside the 3-point line. And you know Indiana keys on that because Indiana knows what a good 3-point shooting team NC State is.
Well, Terry Moore was telling her team at shoot-around today, looking back at the film last year, we have to stick to what works for us. What makes us this team that beat them? We move the ball, our motion, finding each other. And right on cue, Mackenzie Holmes with an outside bucket because of the ball movement.
After going 0 for 6 in her freshman and sophomore years outside the arc, she is 3 for 4 in her junior campaign.
And IU takes the lead, 14-13. NC State from outside. Jones lets it fly, and another foul is going to be called on Hobby. That's her 3rd personal foul.
A contested triple is probably not a best shot for NC State. Look at this screen right here and pop to the perimeter. Nice pass by Berger. And if Mackenzie Holmes can consistently add that to her game, watch out.
Mackenzie Holmes getting a much-deserved rest, as well as Grace Berger heading to the bench as well.
Mackenzie Holmes has really worked on her skill set. She's left and right around the rim. She's got a half hook, and now she's able to step outside the three-point line. That's called getting in the gym and working on your game.
Well, I'll tell you what, she's not on the Lisa Leslie preseason watch list for nothing. Be voted for the best post player in the league, and right now she's showing everyone what she can do. Bounce pass underneath for the Hoosiers. First one doesn't go, blocked underneath the second time. And Kai Crutchfield out of the pack.
They got to move the ball. Switch sides of the floor, make the defense work.
NC State hasn't had a lot of inside touches. You can see them working the ball around the perimeter. Once again, shorten the shot clock, 4 on the shot clock.
This is good D right here.
And Jones has to heave it up. Indiana, once again, another crucial defensive stop and pushing it in transition. And they wanted the bump in the call there. More than anything, the bucket.
And Indiana's transition defense has been good also. They've been able to get back and get matched up.
Diamond Johnson delivers a much-needed bucket for NC State. So Diamond Johnson with 5 points. Canaan leads the pack with 6. As Pat Berg's trying to work the baseline, but coughs it up.
Good D by the Wolfpack.
You see the attention that they're drawing to Pat Berg right away on the inside. That one, it doesn't go, and you can tell she was forcing it just quite a bit. Jakia Brown-Turner almost looks like she's tired on the floor as well. Boyd with the rebound. And a travel call. You can see almost the deflated look.
An offensive foul on Kai Crutchfield. Nicole Cardona-Hillary did a great job of selling it. Diamond Johnson off the bench.
Chelsea, Nikki Zubin, coming up on the A-Train Halftime Report. We'll take you around the country. This is one of the best non-conference days of the season. Nikki, what are you seeing here in the first half?
Well, in the first half, what we're seeing is a team struggling offensively. Both teams are off to a good start defensively if you look at the points that are being scored. But offensively, you got to get yourself to the free throw line, get some easier baskets, get some layups, get in transition, because these are two very good offensive teams.
Indeed. Angel, Deb, we'll see you at the half.
Thanks, Zubin. And Chelsea Gray, how about Chelsea Gray in the studio as well? Good to see it. Congrats are in order for her. But as far as what they were saying in the studio, just about the offense and what it needs for them to just bounce back and get into a rhythm, what do you want to see more of, Debbie?
Well, first of all, Zubin, hold it down in there with those two. That's going to be challenging. I think Indiana does a nice job of getting a piece of the paint. They've done it all game. Their guards have been able to get inside. And Chloe Moore McNeil is working herself into becoming a household name in Hoosier land.
2 for 3 from distance. And all of her points have come beyond the arc. And stripped right away from behind by Mackenzie Holmes. My goodness, what a defensive stop.
They knew NC State was going inside. They bring the double.
Cardano-Hillary tried to add on, but couldn't graze the front of the rim. Hayes looking to see if she can get some transition points. Nothing there, and IU all over the boards. Well, have an opportunity to score.
Their transition defense, again, has been terrific. They've been able to get back.
Cardano-Hillary working it around the perimeter, and you can see the confusion there just in the offense. The hesitancy led to a turnover. But how about the ball movement?
When you come off the timeout, you want to execute. It's an ATO after timeout. Grace Berger has set up the last 2 3-point baskets with her penetration.
I was talking to Coach before the game and just mentioning Chloe Moore McNeil, and said she's a great cutter. And he said, growing in confidence, great cutter, great at the rim. But what she's showing us tonight is that she can shoot it from distance as well.
The Indiana is playing underneath. They're not up the line, they're not overplaying, and NC State has got to play through the middle of that defense. So they've got to either get a penetrating pass or a piece of the paint off the bounce. They're playing on the top of the defense, and that is playing right into Indiana's defensive game plan.
And Grace Wagner picks up her first foul. And it just continues to pile up the turnovers for NC State. They're not giving themselves a chance to get in rhythm.
Their focus is questionable. Their connection is not. And Indiana is locked in. I mean, both these coaches are well prepared. Their teams have gone through an excellent shoot around. They studied each other for a week in the Bahamas.
And now it's go time. And IU at shoot-around said, we know we're going to get their best shot. They're looking for some redemption tonight. We're not going to allow them to get it in our house. Mackenzie Holmes putting on a clinic underneath.
She's so solid, you really can't speed her up. And this is an interesting matchup right here. Diamond Johnson gets behind the defense, off the bounce. You have to keep her in front. That's exactly what NC State needs, though, is some penetration.
And she was close to picking up a steal there as well. Wes Moore said she's a spark, more like a wildfire for this team, and seeing if she can add some much-needed spark for this team. It's a one-point game, but it seems like IU definitely has the momentum.
We haven't had much scoring in this game, but this one is pretty. Inside to Holmes, playing through the middle third. Nice delivery in their high-low game. And then how about Diamond, explosive to the rim.
Beautiful stretching to the rim. That's what every coach loves to see. 5 on the shot clock as Berger. Mid-range game, it doesn't get much better than that.
Well, if anyone needs to see the basket, see a big basket, it's Grace Berger, who's really been struggling. Good fake by Perez.
And as you said, they're getting the looks underneath, but the Wolfpack just can't convert on the inside.
Sophie Hart on the floor for NC State, a 6'5" freshman.
You can see a lot of pressure at the top of the key by Jakia Brown-Turner, trying to see if she can get some defensive energy going for her team on the inside. Patberg going right at Johnson and can't get the and one, but does get the foul. She'll step to the line for 2, and Wes Moore not too happy with that call.
I mean, she leans in to create separation, and then when NC State closes down the space, they get the foul.
And specifically, Diamond Johnson picks up her first foul, and she'll step back to the line. And IU with the 3-point lead, looking to build off of it 4. And they seem like they're rolling. Well, this is the 27th annual Jimmy V Classic at Madison Square Garden this year. Tuesday night on ESPN and the ESPN app. We'll have Texas Tech taking on number 13 Tennessee and their balance attack at 7 p.m. Eastern. Then old rivals square off in a familiar building. It's number 6 Villanova in Syracuse, led by Buddy Boeheim. To donate to the Jimmy V Foundation, go to v.org. And a 3-point basket is much needed by NC State, makes it a 2-point game.
Diamond Johnson doing an excellent job playing off that screen game on the top of the floor. NC State showing a different set that we haven't seen in the game yet. And Indiana will go for 1. So once again, they'll make a move with 8 on the shot clock.
About 3 seconds difference in the shot clock and game clock. In the call for Hillary. And a lot in that sequence, and that was blocked on the inside, but IU had a lot of good looks to see if they can walk away and close this one out.
And NC State, I would say, survived the first half. Lucky to be only down 2 to Indiana.
Well, NC State still seeking that redemption against Indiana. But it's been all IU to start. A couple of good players that have been so huge so far. And it's a Mackenzie Holmes show. She has 9 points. And I feel like that's a good place to start with head coach Terry Moore. And Terry, just the fact that Mackenzie Holmes has been able to establish herself in the paint. What more can you ask of her in the second half?
Well, again, we're going to keep asking her. We're going to keep asking her to, be productive. But we feel like we've gotten great shots from beyond the arc, and they're just not going down for us right now. But Mac has to keep doing the work, right? She has to keep, running the floor the way she is, trying to get their post players out in space, use her speed in short spaces. So, but I like the shots we're getting. Hopefully in the second half they'll drop for us there.
Terry, I want to talk to you about your defense. You're getting back in transition. You're keeping NC State on the top of their offense. What has been working well for you on the defensive end?
Well, Deb, we're stingy, right? And so our coaches do a tremendous job of preparing our players, and so we're well versed in a lot of the actions right now that they're running. And we just wanted to come into this game and have a greater sense of urgency and a greater will and be the most competitive team. That was our goal coming in, and our guys are doing a great job defensively right now. I just want to see some of those shots in the first half drop in the second for us.
Thanks so much for your time, Coach. Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
Well, IU with the 2-point lead over NC State. We'll send it back to Zubin, Nikki, and Chelsea with the E-Trade halftime report. You guys, all you.
Angel, thanks. As you mentioned, the E-Trade halftime report is underway. We've got the 14th annual Big Ten ACC Challenge, the 8th annual SEC Big 12 Challenge. We're all over it tonight. Welcome inside. Chelsea Gray, Nikki Fargas, Zubin Mehenti here with you. First half thoughts, let's break it down. And before we run off to the highlights, what do you see in between the Pack and the Hoosiers?
Man, it's been difficult to score the basketball, and I think early in the season is where we were discussing that, your defense is your best offense, and you're going to get easy scores coming out in transition, maybe getting to the free throw line and getting buckets. So you see the ball go through the net. I think that's a lot of times what a lot of great players need. It's just seeing the ball go through the net.
Well, Indiana is getting a lot of great looks. They're utilizing the penetration, the dribble drive, and they're spotting up their shooters along the perimeter. Those players have got to knock those shots down, and I think it'll be a different ball game for Indiana when those shots start falling for them.
Let me just ask you to take me inside the mind of a player and a coach here. This is a rematch from the 2021 NCAA tournament, but this year to last year, it couldn't be more different, right? Everything we're going through in the world. So when you see a team you've seen before, when the stakes are as big as they are, how does it manifest itself this time around, knowing that we're in an era in which we've never been in sports or life?
Man, I'm still thinking about that. Still thinking about that game. I'm ready to compete. I think when you're such a high-level competitor, like the last time you lose, you're like, okay, when do we play them next? Let's get it on our calendar next. So that might be what's going in their mind a little bit, and that might be, a little bit of why shots aren't going in. But I'm ready for that next game whenever I have the chance.
I heard someone say the other day, as a basketball player, maybe it was you said it the other day, you have to have a short-term memory too. You have to be ready to compete every day. And to me, your biggest competitor is yourself. So don't look at the stat sheet going into the half. I would just start talking about what we can do right now that's in our control. And even though those shots aren't falling for us, we can still play defense, we can still rebound, we can still move the basketball, take care of it. And those are things that those are non-negotiables when you're playing basketball. Those should be constant no matter if you lost, if you win, you should have a foundation that you can count on.
Right. We can control the next two quarters, right? That's all that needs to be said. Mackenzie Holmes from downtown. Can NC State rally to win? Again, tournament rematch from last year. E-Trade halftime report.
This halftime report is presented by E-Trade. Stop waiting. Start investing. You're watching the E-Trade halftime report.
Just a reminder, V-Week rolls on. Most important thing to know about donating. All your money, every dollar, every cent, benefits the V Foundation for Cancer Research. No overhead, all the money right to helping to find a cure. As we welcome you back inside the E-Trade halftime report with Chelsea Gray, Nikki Fargas, I'm Zubin Mehenti, and here we are. Just this weekend, we'll be about 100 days away from Selection Monday, who will cut down the nets in Minneapolis. Let's go to our not quite Final Four, but our four for the moment. Nikki, let's start with who else? South Carolina.
Dawn Staley has their team playing at such a high level offensively. They're able to move the basketball around. They've got multiple offensive weapons. But the player that stands out to me the most that I've seen early on is Aaliyah Boston. Her ability to score in the paint is not better than anybody I've ever seen.
Here come the Hawkeyes.
Man, I'm a fan of Caitlin Clark. Love how their offense has been clicking. They shoot so many threes, and it's a big part of their offense, but also able to get inside the paint, score with the post players, or kick out for shooters.
And we'll see them later tonight on ESPN. Up next, North Carolina State, Nikki.
I like teams that like to push the tempo early, get transition baskets. They love to get up and down, and Westmore has his team playing at a level of, hey, let's pass the ball, make extra passes, let's get ball movement, let's get player movement so we can get easy scores.
And finally, Louisville, Chelsea.
Yeah, they like to get the ball inside the paint. On the other side of that, they're limiting their opponent's ability to score and getting out in transition for layups. Sometimes that's their best offense, defense to offense in transition.
So those are the four that they've pinpointed for now. Just a reminder, one of those teams they selected was, of course, the Iowa Hawkeyes. Hawks have been on a bit of a COVID pause, 2 weeks of delay after some positive tests. They've had 3 games canceled, including a challenge down in Mexico, but they're back in action tonight. You can see them over on ESPN. Chelsea will have her eyes on this one, obviously, with Duke being the opposition. A chance to see Caitlin Clark in action tonight, 9 Eastern on ESPN, all a part of the 14th annual Big Ten ACC Challenge. And this has been the E-Trade Halftime Report.
This halftime report is presented by E-Trade. Stop waiting. Start investing.
You are watching the Big Ten ACC Challenge on ESPN. We are at the historic Simon Skjodt Assembly Hall, and the Hoosiers are giving the #2 team in the nation a run for their money as they have a 2-point lead at the half. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Angel Gray alongside Debbie Antonelli. And Debbie, when we're just looking at the stats from the first half, is what can NC State do better? And just looking at it, Alyssa Canane had 15 points, 12 rebounds in 38 minutes last year. Right now, she's sitting at 5 points and 1 rebound. Some different things that you want to see from the NC State side, but also just overall offensively.
Well, Canane got in foul trouble, and she did go 3 for 3 to start the game. Well, they obviously need their leading scorer and rebounder on the floor, only down 2 at half. NC State's got to move the ball better. Their problem was they didn't shoot it well, and they turned it over. It's not a good combination for the #2 team in the country. However, while Canane was not on the floor, Mackenzie Holmes was able to get to work inside. And this should be a much more aggressive NC State in the second half. And they've got to take care of the basketball.
IU will take the ball out as we start the second half. And just going back to the Big Ten ACC Challenge, these two teams actually faced each other in the challenge in 2016. NC State won that 84-70. They have the 4-1 overall series. In regards to that, we mentioned it at the top of the game with IU upsetting NC State as a block on the inside by the Wolfpack is a nice way to start defensively.
Really good defensive possession. Indiana got 3 sides, and NC State got a stop. I expect spacing to be better in this half. I expect both teams to settle in.
So that's actually going to be a personal foul going against Mackenzie Holmes, but on the other end, how about this defensive series by Wolfpack?
Jakia Brown-Turner did an excellent job of going under based on personnel and got the switch on Pat Berg and made a stop.
If you're Westmore, what's your conversation at halftime about how to get things going for your team? I guess it starts with Canane getting her the ball.
That's it right there. They clear it out. They go 2-man game and keep the weak side busy so you can't bring any help, and look to score quickly.
And quickly, IU does on the other end. Mackenzie Holmes had an electric first half with 9 points, and now she's sitting at 11.
Mackenzie Holmes doing a good job playing in space.
And that bounced around every part of the rim but the one that counts. But she's been getting great looks all night. Holmes 4 for 6 from the field. 1 for 2 from the 3. A double team underneath on Canane. And Jones just can't convert. Another thing that we talked about in the first half is just the layups that NC State has missed. And on the other end, IU's not missing.
Canaan plays through the double. The dive by Jones is the right read, but you have to finish that play. That's a 4-point swing. It's the 2 points NC State missed and the 2 that Indiana got in transition.
And it was something that they worked on in shoot around as well, just being ready for that pass over and over again. We'll see if they can execute it as we continue in this third quarter. Brown Turner outside gets the ball to none other than Kai Crutchfield. Well, they call her Clutchfield for a reason. That was a big-time 3.
She has been terrific all season outside the arc. Crutchfield, 12 for 19 on the season, and Mackenzie Holmes is maybe better with her left than she is with her right, which is her dominant hand.
Mackenzie Holmes, the leading scorer for Indiana, showing just that. She's on the board again. Brown Turner can't find anything on the inside. Perez looking for Canaan as well, and it just seems like Indiana's just clogging the paint so well.
Well, I think NC State's not aware. I mean, Crutchfield just hits a 3. She's wide open on the other side. And this is just a great job of playing through the double team by Indiana. Mackenzie Holmes told me she can shoot that half hook from about the logo and is better with her left hand than with her right.
That's called skill. We'll take more of that, please. Jones from the outside trying to see if she can dial it up from distance. That one doesn't go.
I feel like NC State's taking turns, taking shots because they feel like it's their turn to take one instead of moving the ball like we've grown accustomed to seeing the #2 team in the country.
And Kayla Jones struggling from the field, 0 for 6 on the night. Still trying to find her rhythm on the offensive end. Berger almost turning the ball over as there's 5 on the shot clock. She's working the baseline. Beautiful dish on the inside. Mackenzie Holmes with another bucket, but a beautiful pass by Berger.
Well, Holmes does such a good job of playing off the penetration. She always moves into the vision of the distributor, and Berger has racked up several assists tonight.
Crutchfield, usually called up for her defense, is trying to see if she can get things going for her squad offensively. She gets the offensive board. Brown Turner forcing the situation on the inside and is going to be able to draw the foul.
And this will be the first free throws of the game for NC State.
And that's going to go against Mackenzie Holmes, her second foul, but going back to this beautiful executed play by Berger.
Berger getting in the paint again, doing a nice job of dropping it off. Holmes moving off the penetration to get into her vision. I got Grace Berger with 3 assists in the game, and she averages 5.
Plenty game left for her to exceed those averages, and has been known for how she makes her teammates better as Brown Turner knocks down the second half of those free throws.
Well, she adds value without scoring. Obviously, she's struggling from the floor, and she's finding other ways.
A lot of action at the top of the key, but that's actually going to be a foul that's going to go against Brown Turner. You like the aggression. That's also going to be the first foul.
That's our national anthem singer.
A lot of commotion. He just does everything, right? Did an amazing job singing the national anthem. Cleans up at half court. What can he do?
Allie Patberg comes up holding her right hand.
And Berger slowing things down for her squad, seeing if they can execute something here. 4-point lead for the Hoosiers.
Well, Kai Crutchfield doing a good job defensively right here.
And she knew she was going to have this assignment. She said, I just want to keep her in front. She turns the ball over, seeing if she can get her to cough it up in this game. 8 on the shot clock. Low in the timer again. Berger rises up, can't get it to fall. And Kayla Jones with the rebound. Reina Perez dishes it off. Kayla Jones might have hurt us. Now she's on the board for her first 3.
NC State, 3 threes in the first half, 2 already here in the third quarter.
You said we were going to see more offense in this second half. So far, not too bad.
We had to see more offense. We didn't see any in the first from really either team playing well or not playing their best.
Oh, a short shot from Mackenzie Holmes. 6 for 9 from the field, 15 points for her. She leads both squads in points. Game leader.
Well,
Elisa Cadane still looking to get some type of rhythm, but that double team continues to come.
Well, she spins away from it to the baseline side. That's usually her go-to move.
Alexa Galbay all the way to the rim, and that's on the other side.
Indiana has not given NC State anything easy. They have made them work in the transition game.
Reina Perez, they wanted a double dribble.
Look, Reina Perez has not turned the ball over more than 3 times in the last 7 games. And see, that's a contested 3 by Jakia Brown-Turner.
And Grace Berger actually got a piece of the ball there. So great defensive play for Grace Berger. As we talked about throughout this entire game, has done little things to get to her team. Well, a foul is on Reina Perez.
Are they hot? Mackenzie Holmes might be. She's been terrific inside, making herself available off penetration, and the 3 is starting to fall for the Wolfpack. Whew. Welcome back to Assembly Hall inside one of the more iconic arenas, and talk about growing up a Hoosier. This young man is Braden Wiersbe, son of associate head coach for Indiana, Rhett Wiersbe. Look what he's doing during the game. He is tracking stats. It looks like he's got baskets and free throws and rebounds written down. This young man loves the game. Rhett told us before the game that Braden loves to come to practice. He loves to travel on the road. He likes to go on recruiting trips. That's a future coach right there.
I tell you what, right? Raising them the right way. Household of coaches. We'll have to see if we can look at that stat sheet after the game, too, to see if he's got some good things on there. But a beautiful story. You can see how he's influenced his son so much. That's so awesome.
You grow up a Hoosier here, you're going to wear the candy stripes, and you're going to be in the driveway shooting baskets.
And Reina Perez with an O board. We didn't see a lot of that in the first half from NC State. We didn't see a lot of that in the Sweet 16 game. And Westmore said, I, in my 32 years, have not coached a team. They didn't have one offensive board. Challenged them to be better tonight. And that second chance opportunity by Canane gets Jones another bucket.
Smaller, quicker defensive lineup on the floor for NC State.
NC State with a 6-0 run. And Indiana responds.
You knew eventually she was going to hit one after going 0 for 3, showing the confidence.
Alexa Galbay. I asked Coach about her, and he said, unsung hero for this team. It's a big bucket for IU.
Canane really doing a good job of shaping up to the basketball. When the ball moves to the wing, she gets to the block and shows her hands and her numbers to the ball so she can draw that foul.
Grace Berger is going to take a trip to the bench.
Watch Kai Crutchfield doing a good job of staying underneath Berger. Then they get the switch. Galbay wide open.
Money drains it. We talked about Canane starting off 3 for 3 from the field. You're going to see different looks from IU's defense. They force her to take a tough shot from the top of the key. And that's going to be another foul that's going to go against NC State. Diamond Johnson picks that one up. But do you like that shot from Canane at the top of the key?
Well, it's a half hook. It's something she's capable of making. They didn't bring the double that time. She has to look to score.
And she's done different things as well. They've been able to see if they can squeeze her in on the block. A lot of the double teams, too, have led to some backdoor cutting for NC State, but seeing if they can diversify a little bit.
You know, I think when she catches it deep in the paint is when they bring the double. When she catches it up the lane, they're not bringing to her, and I think that's part of their defensive game plan, or it's what I've noticed.
We're going to see who that one was touched by, and they're going to discuss this one, and it seemed like it went off of Elisa Canane, and they're going to reverse the call. At first they said it was going to go against Keandra Brown, but IU gets it underneath. Oh yeah, that's a quick one. Cardano Hillary working it around the perimeter. Chloe Moore McNeil trying to dial it up again, but she misses everything on that shot, and Diamond Johnson is coming out of the pack, pushing the pace, finds Perez, and that's a big bucket, especially in transition.
When the guards rebound, NC State can motor up the floor.
In their last matchup, Indiana won that battle in transition 18-4. The Wolfpack said we have to be better in transition, but also understanding what they need to do in their transition defense. So the Wolfpack are going to take the ball out as that ball was bounced off the leg of Indiana. And a couple of substitutions as Mackenzie Holmes comes back into the game.
You got four three-point shooters around Elisa Cunane.
So make it work, right? See if you can get it inside. Diamond Johnson turns down the outside shot, mid-range game, and that's a bucket.
Much more poise and better execution by NC State, which leads to a better shot.
Johnson shooting 50% from the field tonight, 12 points, seeing if she can add to it. High bunny, and that one can't go, but the cleanup crew in the building for Kayla Jones.
The last three plays have been the influence of Diamond Johnson on the floor for NC State. She rebounds, gets them in their transition game, and picks up the tempo on the offensive end.
And something of note as well, Kayla Jones was held scoreless in the first half. She already has 7 points in the second. Seeing if they can continue to keep her going. She's going to dial it up again. That was a heat check. That one is short. So less than a minute left in this quarter.
They got to get the ball inside the Holmes on this set right here. Cunane's played the second half here with those 2 fouls. See if they can pick up the third on her.
NC State with the 4-point lead. IU continuing to work their motion. 7 on the shot clock. Working it in one more time, and that one's no good. And underneath, just saving it out of bounds. And who else than Diamond Johnson coming up with the loose ball. And she's going to hold it for the last shot of the quarter. But if not, Nicole Cardano Hillary is like, I'm not going to let you dribble it right in front of my face.
I told you before the game that these two were going to mix it up. You could anticipate Diamond Johnson and Nicole Cardano Hillary getting tangled up at some point. Two aggressive, really determined ball handlers for their teams.
I love how Cardano Hillary was just like, you're not going to dribble this out at the top of the key and get a good look. I'm going to make you earn it. And that's just the swag that she has. We saw it in Nassau. We're seeing it now. 3 on the game clock. Berger, mid-range. That one doesn't go. Back iron. And it's a 4-point game after 3 frames. NC State doing a better job by NC State. Diamond Johnson having a stellar third quarter.
Diamond is shining for NC State. Doing a great job of making plays, getting in transition, D'ing up, doing all the little things off the bench for the Wolfpack.
We need your help with a fight that began one night when one man gave one speech.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
So don't give up on me.
It's V Week at ESPN, and our partnership with the V Foundation highlights the urgent need for cancer research and the elimination of racial disparities in cancer outcomes. You can learn more and help support by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of your donations go directly to cancer research. Obviously, something that means a great deal to you. And it should to everyone, and just how they can continue to raise awareness about cancer and bring an end to this.
Your money that you donate will help science and research. And there are 17 million people that are cancer survivors living in our country right now. That number is going to go up because people are going to give. So we need your help. Help the VIA organization.
Well, if you're just joining us, this is the 4th frame, final frame for the Big Ten ACC Challenge between number 2 and number 6. NC State had a phenomenal third quarter as they have the 4-point lead. There's a foul on Mackenzie Holmes. That's her third foul on the game, and we saw a little bit more offense in that third quarter, something that we asked a lot of after halftime.
Well, both these teams, because of their experience, have played in big games. And this is a big game on their schedule this season. So let's see who can execute and not have any game slippage in the fourth quarter, meaning not lose the detail of the execution.
We talked about big games. Well, NC State already had a big game against South Carolina to kick off their season. Also played number 2 Maryland, as there's another foul underneath. Kayla Jones fired up on the baseline.
NC State playing with a little bit of emotion, which is exactly what they may need. Good effort on the glass by Kayla Jones, and look at her response. That's a fifth-year senior who wants to win.
Alexa Golbe picks up the foul. Diamond Johnson can't get that one to fall. Another offensive rebound, but that's going to be dished off. Another turnover, and Nicole Cardania-Hillary is just in the right place at the right time.
You know what? Flopping is supposed to be a point of emphasis in our game, and Cardano-Hillary a lot of times throws her head back and flails her body around. Watch this right here. Watch this angle. Now, I think Diamond had a clean steal.
That is an emphasis in the women's game, as Diamond Johnson has picked up her third foul, and that's something that they're looking at on the men's side. They do have.
Well, the men have a penalty for it.
A penalty and then attack.
The women don't, unless you go to the monitor and see something.
Right.
Then you can add a penalty for a flop.
Right. Diamond Johnson.
I'm hoping that it's too bad this is a rule change year and that women did not add that this year, because it would. The men are. It's getting taken out of the men's game because the players are adjusting.
Absolutely.
Good D.
For a brief second, it looked like she was one-on-one, but great help underneath from Holmes. Berger tries to get to the rim on the outside. Mackenzie Holmes drains it from the outside and gets everyone in this house on their feet.
When the ball goes to the baseline, it flattens out the defense. It leaves the top of the floor open. Mackenzie Holmes has already proven she can knock it down from up there.
Hoosiers bring it to 1. 1-point lead for NC State. Kayla Jones trying to work something on the baseline. Diamond Johnson, Euro step, and the bucket.
That's tough right there. This game's picking up right now.
14 points for Johnson, 7 for 14 from the field. We're seeing the spark that Wes Moore was talking about. And the ACC Player of the Week going to work. Pat Berg finding Golbe in the corner. No shot there. Holmes finds some space.
Look at that footwork. Look at that offensive maturity with 2 on the shot clock to get the ball to your go-to player on the inside.
Holmes leading this game in scoring, 20 points. 8 for 11 from the field, and trying to see if she can get a win for her squad. Perez driving on the inside, and there's a foul that's going to go against the Hoosiers.
Oh, the intensity is picking up in this building. You know, neither team has played their best offensive game, but they have competed every possession.
So the Pack, they're going to take it out underneath. You can feel the energy in historic Assembly Hall. Nice crowd has shown up to see if they can will their team to a win for the Big Ten ACC Challenge. And a lot of contact underneath, and that's going to go against Canaan. And Mackenzie Holmes escapes the Pack, screaming with her teammates.
Now, NC State is going to feel like Canaan was displaced, and Terry Morin is going to say she was just bumping the cutter. The official saw a foul.
And the frustration for her there is that's Canaan's third foul. Pat Berg in the corner. That one close to falling for Cardano Hillary. IU still trailing 1. Diamond Johnson can't get that one to go. Big time rebound for Jones. And you better count the bucket. Allie Patberg picks up her first personal foul. And how about the emergence of Kayla Jones in this second half?
Kayla Jones doing a great job in transition, getting to a spot on the weak side. We saw some emotion out of her. We know how badly she wants to win.
Gets the bucket before the game, silenced the crowd as well. She said, I want this game. I wasn't able to play in that Sweet 16 game due to injury. And knowing this one was so huge for her team, she wants to be here and is trying to will her team to a big-time win. And a jump ball is called on the floor.
If Indiana does not score in this possession, Terry Morin might have to get Mackenzie Holmes back on the floor.
Okay.
I know she's trying to give her a break for the final run. But the way this game is going, there's not been any separation by either team.
Because at this point, Mackenzie Holmes, every time she touched the bucket, it was either a score or finding a way to create some space. But right now, Keandra Brown trying to do everything that she can as well to get some buckets underneath. Brown scores her first 2 points of the game. Diamond Johnson fouled at the top of the key, and that's going to go against Keandra Brown. So a quick bucket by Brown on one end, but also a quick foul by Brown on the other. That's going to send Diamond Johnson to the free throw line. All right, well, we've got another star-studded NBA Friday doubleheader to tip off your weekend on ESPN and the app. Joel Embiid and the Sixers play the second game of their 4-game road trip against Trae Young and the Hawks at 7:30 Eastern. Then, Chris Paul and the Suns take on Steph Curry and the Warriors. Our coverage starts with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern. 17 straight for the Suns. The Warriors and Suns are tied for the best record overall. They already played each other once.
IU's largest lead, Angel, was 5. NC State's largest lead was 5. The best run NC State went on was a 6-0 run. The best run Indiana went on was a 5-0 run. That's how tight this game has been played.
2-point game. Diamond Johnson taking matters in her own hand. And Mackenzie Holmes with a big-time block. Now, the call is, it's staying with NC State.
Holmes on the block, bucket. Holmes on the defensive end, block.
And
officials are looking at the shot clock, Angel. They want to see, they reset the clock to 30, but NC State will retain possession. And there was not a change of possession.
A couple of the women came out of the huddle too. Nicole Cardano Hillary said, review it. We got to see if we can.
Well, you can't review it
exactly.
yet.
But she knew
the shot clock will go at 21. You can actually go over there and put the stopwatch on it and make sure you get the right time. You're allowed to use the monitor for time and score.
They're still trying to work through some things as Roy Golbayan.
There's the shot clock in the bottom of your corner. 24 on the shot clock is right.
And that's what they have on the clock. Diamond Johnson working it around the perimeter. Elisa Canane, it's a block call. Waving it off, they wanted the offensive foul.
I mean, so close to anticipating this is Pat Berg, because she reads it from the weak side. She's tagging from the strong side, excuse me.
Right. But even knowing that attention is going to come from the other side for Elisa Canane, she's seen a bit of everything tonight defensively and still finding ways to impact this team, and they continue to get her the ball. Knocks down the first one. And it's still a 3-point game. One possession game.
I thought we'd see Indiana try to post up their guards a little bit more, especially with this lineup on the floor for NC State. They clear it out for Holmes to go one-on-one.
Yeah, we're seeing the bigs go at it just a bit, but Golbey can't see anything there. 2 on the shot clock. They're going to have to heave it quick. And you would think that they just lost sight of how much time was left on the shot clock, as that's a shot clock violation by IU. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. Welcome back. Here's our ABC College Football Conference Championship Weekend triple header. Saturday at noon Eastern, we'll have the Big 12 championship game between number 9 Baylor and number 5 Oklahoma State. Then we have number 21 Houston and number 4 Cincinnati square off for the AAC title. And finally, 15th ranked Pittsburgh takes on 16th ranked Wake Forest in the ACC championship game. What a full day of football on ABC and the ESPN app. One app, one tap. Let's talk about the game we have in front of us now. Debbie, you like offense, so let's talk about the leading scorers for both teams.
I love offense. I wish we'd seen a little bit more from both teams as they've struggled, but Indiana's backcourt is 4 for 31, yet it's a one-possession game. It's their defense that has kept them in it.
Under 5 to go. How does either team pull away? As Diamond Johnson shine bright like one.
No one's going to pull away. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to pull away, Angel.
Yeah.
I think because the game, look, I mean, look, it's so tight, right?
That's what we want to.
5-point lead is the most NC State has had, and they've got another 5-point lead here. This game's been tight.
Gives you that March Madness feel in December, as there's a foul by Elisa Canane underneath against Mackenzie Holmes. That's her 4th. With 4 minutes left.
I don't think there's really a decision for Westmore to make. I think he's got to keep her on the floor. And, you know, Mackenzie Holmes has been fantastic. She's 9 for 12 from the floor tonight. She has done an outstanding job. And, again, going left, I think she's better going left than right. I mean, Mackenzie Holmes we've watched her from her freshman year evolve into a complete player on the offensive end. First team all Big Ten last year. Now she's making threes. Are you kidding me?
She said I just had to step out a little bit.
She's already on the top of the scouting report for Indiana. She's going to make herself unguardable pretty soon.
There is that WNBA after the collegiate years, and she's putting on a show so far. A few W scouts in the building, as there's an offensive foul by Diamond Johnson, taken by none other than Nicole Cardania-Hillary.
Mixing it up as anticipated.
So
big turnover, Angel, right here. That's a hook.
Yeah.
And then it's a really good sell. But it's definitely a foul by Diamond Johnson.
So some foul trouble for some big-time players for NC State. 4 for Canane and 4 for Diamond Johnson, as Alexa Golbey holds up the follow-3 off of that big-time 3, brings them into 1. Diamond Johnson asking for the ball at the top of the key. Alyssa Canane trying to free her up on the high screen. Perez, one too many dribbles, almost coughs the ball up. 5 on the shot clock. They have to heave it. Kayla Jones from outside, and what a desperation shot by Jones.
The aspiration.
Berger working the baseline. Finds Pat Berg.
Oh, good location. Good relocation. No, that's as good a look as Nicole Cardano Hillary has had from the perimeter. Now she's a 2,000-point scorer for Indiana and has a great look. Grace Berger has struggled shooting the basketball, but she has done a nice job of adding value by setting up her teammates. Good throwback. Gobey's second triple. But NC State is maintaining a small lead behind Kayla Jones, the senior.
Welcome back. Well, Miss Mackenzie Holmes is having herself a night. 23 points for her, 9 for 12 from the field. Efficient is a good place to start with.
Look,
Mackenzie.
Angel, you know, you and I are guards. We love a low post player that you can throw the ball in and they can get you a bucket. And I think the timeout, because Terry Morin's team wasn't organized, also allowed NC State to get Elisa Cunane off the floor with those 4 fouls, because everyone in the building believes it's going to Holmes.
Right.
There she is.
And on cue, it does, but she can't get that one to drop. But that was a nice look outside. She's already hit a couple from distance. And still a lot of time on the clock as it's NC State with a 4-point lead.
Oh, great play out of the timeout by Westmore. Good execution.
Kayla Jones with 15 points all of the second half. And how about this play? You can see the emotion from Kayla Jones underneath as they get the ball back after that offensive foul.
Well, Grace Berger pushed off and picks up the foul. And NC State up 6, their largest lead of the game. There's the push off. I'd go right back to that same set. NC State hadn't shown that set.
You talked about how close this game has been. NC State with their largest lead, but they've had to fight for every single point and down at the half.
Terry Morin keeps Nicole Cardano Hillary on the ball defensively. So whether it's Reina Perez bringing it up or Diamond Johnson bringing it up, they communicate defensively. Their best on the ball defender.
Reina Perez picks up her second foul. And that's going to send IU to the free throw line. They had 1 to give coming in. And now both teams are in the bonus.
Yeah, no fouls to give. NC State with 4 timeouts, Indiana with 3. Possession arrow belongs to NC State.
All right, coming up next over on ESPN at 9 Eastern, the 14th Women's Big Ten ACC Challenge rolls on with Duke hosting 9th-ranked Iowa at Cameron Indoor Stadium. The ACC owns a 9-1-3 all-time advantage in the series. You can always watch it streaming live on the ESPN app. One app, one tap.
We're waiting for you, Caitlin Clark. Don't start without us.
We're trying to finish this one as Cunane with a beautiful bucket.
That's a great play by Cunane over that right shoulder with that left half hook.
That might have been one of the easiest buckets I've seen her get tonight. As Diamond Johnson gets the steal, dishes it off to Perez, and they get the bucket.
Indiana's got to score.
9-point lead for NC State.
They got to score quickly here. They got to push. They don't necessarily need the 3. I'll throw it into Holmes.
We're approaching the 60-second mark as Mackenzie Holmes attacks the bucket and comes up with her own board.
Watch Elisa Cunane working on that half hook all summer. Delivers in the biggest moment of the game, and she also picks up her 5th foul. Scored the first, well, it was 3 for 3 in the first quarter. Now this is going to be how Mackenzie Holmes hooks, travels, maybe.
Interesting. Right on the arm, though.
Foul by Cunane on the rebound.
And so that's a huge loss for NC State. She was just getting going. 11 points on the night for Elisa Cunane, but had the assignment, too, of trying to contain Mackenzie Holmes. So now Camille Hobby will come in and see if she can close this one out.
Well, this is a perfect recipe right here for Terry Morin's team. You stop the clock, you get Mackenzie Holmes on the free throw line. Now NC State's got to expect some pressure.
Right.
What Indiana needs to be careful of is not getting beat over the top.
A big miss. A lot of pressure, as you said before, but Diamond Johnson clearing the pack. And you'll think that they're just going to slow things down and see what bucket they can get with less than a minute left, and the foul is going to come from the top of the key.
Well, Reina Perez is a 50, 40, 80 player. We haven't had much of a chance to talk about her, but she does not turn the basketball over. When you look at the analytics of NC State's team, they are better when she is on the floor.
In her 6th year, very interesting way that she even got to NC State. She was actually trying to see what coaches were going to call her out while she was done with UC Fullerton. And she said she got a phone call from Wes Moore. She missed it. Her brother said, hey, you might want to give them a call back. They just won the ACC, and now she's with the Wolfpack, making history with this team. 10-point lead for NC State. Less than a minute left. What more can you ask for? Wolfpack trying to close this one out. Sweet redemption. Welcome back. This has been an entertaining game between the number 2 team, NC State rather, against the number 6 team, IU. I know. Oh boy. That's not a good one to mess up on. But this has been an incredible game. Kayla Jones with her first double-double of 2020, 9th of her career. Alyssa Kanane fouls out. And at the top of the key, Allie Patberg knocks down the 3, makes it a 7-point game. 45 seconds left.
Well, NC State comes out and plays zone. And Patberg buries it. It's the first possession of zone we've seen NC State play all game.
Do you think that's because they think they were going on the inside to Holmes?
I think Wes Moore was just trying to give them a different look, but they were definitely prepared for it. Coming off the timeout, trying to change it up a little bit. Patberg with a huge shot.
Makes it a 7-point game, 45 seconds. And once again, they're looking at the clock. Yeah, so about 46 and some change.
NC State called timeout. I believe they got the timeout. They're going to advance the basketball.
So both teams have 3 timeouts left. Actually, Hoosiers have 2. Both teams in the bonus. As we mentioned before the break, Alyssa Kanane fouled out of the game after scoring 11 points, 5 for 9 from the field. But for IU, they're just trying to see if they can get over the hump in this one. Mackenzie Holmes had an unbelievable night so far, but NC State has just been unbelievable. Look at Kayla Jones in the second half, 15 points.
Well, that's what you expect your senior leaders to do, to show up in the big moments. It's part of the reason why she came back for her 5th year.
Quickly moving the ball around, and there's going to be a foul. Reina Perez, a great free throw shooter, as you mentioned before.
She's their best free throw shooter. And that's who Wes Moore wants on the line in the biggest moments in the game. The player that you trust the most to make them.
2 free throws, NC State,
Reina Perez does have 1 turnover, and that is something to mention because she's only had 3 in the last 6 games coming into tonight.
Mrs. Reliable.
Yeah,
the ball in her hand.
And Reina Perez and Diamond Johnson play well together in the backcourt.
She delivers, knocks both of them down to 83% shooter, and IU is going to be able to advance. Well, how about Diamond Johnson, who has been unbelievable from top to bottom, has really been the spark for this team.
Well, the smallest player on the floor has had the biggest impact.
Yeah.
She's been fantastic. Knocking down triples, getting NC State's energy going in the mid-range, stepping through. I mean, such a smart competitor. And it's a player that really hunts shots for NC State. And they needed her to do that tonight.
The transfer from Rutgers, it was big, all Big Ten team, and now just showing what she can do with NC State. Her nickname is Dime. She only has 3 assists right now, but I'll call her money anyway.
Well,
she's
not
been phenomenal, right?
She ain't out there to pass.
Dime is money anyway, you know.
Yeah.
We'll look at it that way.
NC State not playing zone.
Maybe an adjustment that they saw from the top. Berger, another bucket.
Number 34, Grace Berger.
So once again, Wes Moore will call the timeout.
You know, I had this conversation with Wes before the game about utilizing his timeouts in a late game situation, because there are times when he doesn't elect to advance the ball. It's when he thinks he has a foot speed advantage. Well, I don't think he feels like he has a foot speed advantage in this one with Indiana, so it's better to advance the ball.
Right.
Let Reina Perez inbound it and give it right back to her.
We'll see if they can get that done once again when they have Reina Perez, who can just knock the ball down. You'll see if Indiana can keep the ball out of her hands, but she's so speedy, so quick. And even with the people on the floor at this point, who else can you get the ball to from the free throw line? And Wes Moore just trying to draw up something for his team. He has 2 timeouts left. IU has 1. You can see the IU faithful in the banana.
Smaller lineup on the floor for defensive purposes to switch on everything.
And once again, they find a way to get the ball to Perez, and she'll be on the free throw line with 37.8 left.
Now you get Patberg and Holmes back on the floor for offense.
So offense, defense for IU. There's Chloe Moore-McNeil and Grace Wagner. We'll assume we'll see them later in the game. Perez knocked down both free throws just a few moments ago. Connects once again. She's currently 5 for 5 from the free throw line.
First time that Elisa Cunane has fouled out this season.
But she's trying to escape Assembly Hall perfect in the Big Ten ACC Challenge. They did not have the challenge last year due to the pandemic. And this year, Wes Moore said, hey guys, do you want to play IU? And they said, bring it on. This is a team that we know that we want some redemption on, and to see them taking the floor tonight too, it's been a good one.
Well, both these coaches are outstanding. They both have built programs here that have sustained transfers and graduation, and they have used the portal well. And they both are terrific game adjusters as well. We've seen Wes Moore try to change things up. We've seen Terry Moore and do the same thing.
Right.
In each year, they have taken a step with their program, which makes them both dangerous getting into March this year. In the NCAA tournament, both these teams are going to have a chance. They both have Final Four aspirations. Seeding will matter. So we'll see how.
I can't wait for you to break that down later in the season.
I'm probably not going to.
Okay. Well, as you mentioned, 2 top 10 teams, and even speaking to Terry Moore and her staff, they're like, yeah, we're 5-1, but we're not playing some of our best basketball. Obviously, we saw them in Nassau for the Baha Mar tournament.
Well, they lost to Stanford by 3. They beat Miami by 2. And I think, you know, it goes without saying, Patberg, Berger, and Cardonia Hillary can't have the shooting performances that they have for Indiana to win.
He also said we have to take care of the ball. We can't have 20-something turnovers and expect to win.
See, Nicole Cardonia Hillary 0 for 10 from the floor, and that's just not something that you see out of Indiana. So, you know, they didn't play well. They didn't shoot it well. Yet it was a competitive game to the last, really, 2 minutes when NC State was able to finally get some separation from Terry Moore's team. Now, at the last year, they played at Maryland, and they were picked to win the Big Ten, and you could see the moment was too big for them. And ever since then, they have made the adjustments, and this is a competitive group. I would never count this team out. But they will play. They didn't play well, and they had it a couple possession game with the #2 team in the country.
Well, in the season, Nicole Cardona Hillary averaging 12 points, but
let me say this, Angel, they didn't play well on the offensive end, except for Mackenzie Holmes. They did play well on the defensive end.
Okay. 0 points for her, but even in Miami, not getting the looks that she wanted as well. It's a quick score. Diamond Johnson just getting the ball in quickly. 21 seconds left in the game. And it's going to be a free throw shootout for NC State as Alexa Golbey picks up her 4th.
And what will NC State learn? Poor execution in the first half, 11 turnovers. Not typical of what you think a championship caliber team would do, but Diamond Johnson is the X factor off the bench, right? She can make stuff happen. So can Kayla Jones, the senior leader. Had a fantastic second half.
I need to know what the halftime speech was, because Kayla Jones scoring all of her points in the second half. We just saw a different sense of urgency from the senior. Less than 20 to go. Berger from outside, long 2.
I think they have to review whether it was a 2 or a 3.
Yep.
Gives Terry Morin and Wes Moore an extra timeout. Good news for Grace Berger, though. She did make her last 2 shots.
But the not so good news is that her toe was on the line. So this should be a quick one to look at, but IU is first on the floor. 8-point game with NC State. With the reins at this point, we can't mention enough what it took by everyone collectively for NC State. A lot of the attention was going to go to Elisa Canane. Then still, with the double teams, with people finding ways to clog up the paint, it was how everyone else was able to kind of step up. And Kayla Jones in the second half was cute, but Diamond Johnson just shows us why being ACC Player of the Week and an ACC watch list is exactly what she showed us tonight.
Well, NC State only turned it over 4 times in the second half. They outscored Indiana off the bench 21-8. And they were able to get points in the paint, not necessarily by Cunane, but by everyone crashing the glass and making plays late. Big win on the road for the Wolfpack.
And that's the 7 straight win for NC State. Westmore needs 3 more wins to get to 200, but this was a huge one against IU. So a big win, sweet redemption, we'll say, Debbie, as NC State responds from that battle once again and get the win here at IU. Coming up next, 6 more women's college basketball. Iowa State versus LSU, the Big 12 SEC Challenge. So long from Bloomington, Indiana. I'm Angel Gray alongside Debbie Antonelli. Have a nice night, everyone.